Late yesterday, Donald Trump took questions from reporters in the Oval Office about topics like prosecuting his political opponents, as well as his new TikTok deal, which has the potential to radically shift the information landscape much further to the right than it already is. And that does not bode well for Democrats, liberals, and progressives moving forward, particularly with respect to winning elections. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is extremely important, particularly regarding the TikTok ban. As you know, just for context, there was a federal TikTok ban signed into law last year with President Biden. It was passed by overwhelming bipartisan congressional majorities. The president signed it into law. It was then challenged but reaffirmed by the entire Supreme Court unanimously, and Trump has been breaking the law for the past 8 months by refusing to enforce the ban as he tried to shop TikTok around for a bunch of right-wingers and Trump allies that he could pass TikTok off to, and it seems that he has succeeded. And this concerns him signing an executive order that would transfer management of the U.S. shares of TikTok over to right-wing allies who can then shape the algorithm to their benefit. So with all that in mind, here we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President, now that Americans will have operational control, do you want to see the algorithm suggest more MAGA-related content prioritized?
I always like MAGA-related. If I could, I'd make it 100% MAGA-related. It's actually a good question, but I would, yeah, if I could make it 100% MAGA, I would, but...
That right there is incredibly dangerous. And the truth is, he will be in a position to do just that, or if not 100% MAGA related, then largely MAGA friendly. That's incredibly dangerous, and again, puts the left at an even greater disadvantage than it already was with respect to media.
It's not going to work out that way, unfortunately. No, everyone's going to be treated fairly. Every group, every philosophy, every policy will be treated very fairly. Thank you.
Mr. President, do you know the valuation? Do you know the American company is going to be valued in the billions?
Well, they valued it very highly. They're paying a big number. Do you want to talk, Scott? Do you want to say something about value?
Well, I'll let the Vice President, and then I can follow up.
You'll say something.
Sure. Well, first of all, I would say all credit goes to the Secretary of the Treasury. Couldn't have got it done without Scott. Also couldn't have got it done without Sean Cooksey on my team, so thanks to them. The company will be valued around $14 billion. We actually think this is a good deal for investors, but ultimately the investors are going to make the determination about what they want to invest in and what they think is a proper value. The most important thing is that it does protect Americans' data security. It ensures TikTok is still accessible. And on this question of the algorithm, which we've heard this a lot, what this deal ensures is that the American entity and the American investors will actually control the algorithm. We don't want this used as a propaganda tool by any foreign government. We want to make sure that our people and our investors actually make these decisions based on what's good for their business as opposed to what's good for another government's propaganda arm. So that's what we've done with this deal. I think it's very good for the American people. And as the president said, young people love this. We actually want everybody to access this, whether they're MAGA or not. We just want it to be fair. We want it to be fair to everybody. And we think that's what's going to happen with this new arrangement.
We have no reason to believe that that's the case, particularly since the people who have been named on this board that will be controlling TikTok are right-wingers like Rupert Murdoch and Lachlan Murdoch of Fox News, as well as Larry Ellison, another prominent Trump supporter. So it doesn't seem to be fair and balanced. Are we going to see George Soros or, Reid Hoffman or any sort of like liberal, Mark Cuban, any sort of like liberal billionaire or liberal businessman? Doesn't seem likely. It's very ominous. And for them admitting like, yes, we will be able to tweak the control based on what's good for our business, that's incredibly ominous and will further shift an already white right-wing information landscape even further to the right.
So Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, the U.S. company could change the algorithm to push different content? Is that...
The U.S. company will have control over how the algorithm pushes content to users, and that was a very important part of it. We thought it was necessary for the national security element of the law. We also just think it's important to protect American users. Again, we want users to use this platform the way they want to. We want the business to make decisions about content based on the interests of the business and based on the interests of the users, and that's what we think will happen with this new arrangement.
So you can expect a MAGA bent in TikTok once this deal is signed. And again, some of the names given, Trump once again reaffirms that Rupert Murdoch of Fox News is on the list.
You'll see a list. Have you seen a list yet of the people? Well, you've been reading about it. I know Michael Dell's involved and Rupert Murdoch's involved and a lot of, and let's see, we have probably 4 or 5 absolutely world-class investors that love the country, and they made a lot of money with the country, and many of them are in a somewhat related business, so it works out pretty well. And they're going to be very careful about all of these questions that you've been asking.
Rupert Murdoch, Larry Ellison, prominent Trump supporters. It's not good, folks. Not good. Some other questions he answered were about tariffs. And again, he once again admitted that his tariffs are totally screwing over farmers, such that he's probably going to have to arrange for some sort of federal bailout for American farmers, just like he had to do during his first term once he triggered a ridiculous trade war with China in his first term.
I announced it lightly before, but we're taking in tremendous amounts of money with tariffs. We've never seen anything like it. No country's ever seen anything like it. I'm going to devote a little bit of that money, a little bit of the tariff money, to our farmers. Our farmers have been incredible. They're the ones that let us survive and eat and enjoy our lives, right? Eat too much, maybe in some cases, like mine. But I will tell you, we're going to take some of the tariff money, relatively small amount, but a lot for the farmers. And we're going to help the farmers out a little bit, because during this transition period, a period where we're taking in incredible amounts of money, we'll have a little bit of a shortfall with the farmers until the tariffs kick in, because they haven't kicked in for the farmers yet. And I decided before, and I spoke to all of the people here, that I want to make a contribution out of the tariff money, a small percentage of it, but it's a lot for the farmers. It'll make the farmers feel very good, just to help them through the transition. And ultimately, they're going to be making a fortune. They will be one of the top in the whole world. And
again, we have no reason to believe that that's the case. Farmers got screwed the last time Trump was in power. He had to bail them out the first time, particularly soybean farmers, again, because of his trade war with China. And it's just an admission that the tariffs are not working the way he promised the American people they would, which is something that even conservative economists were shouting about during the 2024 election, and were not heeded. Here's another clip.
Ultimately, they're going to be making a fortune. They will be one of the top in the whole world in terms of the percentage gotten from the tariffs we're taking in. But we have so much coming in, it's a very small thing. But I want to just get the word out to the farmer, because they'll be struggling until the transition is complete. Then after that, they're going to do, I think, better than.
Again, just total nonsense there again. More clips with him talking about the economy. Do here.
But isn't it crazy? So I saw the market was down a little bit today. I mean, in all fairness, I don't feel guilty, because we've set every record you can imagine. But it was down, and I say, oh, the numbers must be good. Meaning the growth numbers are phenomenal. And again, this is during, but a little bit of the heavy, the really success and the money pouring into our country through the tariffs. And I just say, why can't we have great numbers and lower the interest rates so we have even greater numbers? So people were saying, oh, the numbers are so good, they're going to have to raise interest rates. That doesn't have to happen. And there's no inflation.
That's just not true. So the reason that the Federal Reserve did a 0.25% interest rate reduction is because we're starting to see pre-stagflationary numbers, slower growth, higher unemployment, and that's why the Fed reacted the way that it did. And again, this is because of Donald Trump's tariffs, predominantly according to Jerome Powell. So this is once again a situation where Trump is intentionally creating the circumstances which is causing so much economic turmoil to begin with. This isn't like COVID, which is something he mismanaged, by the way, but like some sort of external pandemic, which is causing, natural economic crises. Trump's tariffs are something that Trump is imposing. He could just withdraw them all and reduce so much of the pressure on the economy, and yet he's not doing that. And again, report after report after report shows that the American people are increasingly bearing the brunt, of the costs of Trump's tariffs, and he shows no signs of stopping.
But that transition period's ending faster than we thought on tariffs. The money coming in is much greater than people thought, and there's no inflation, essentially. There's no inflation.
This is not true. There is inflation. Inflation has risen on Trump's watch compared to President Biden's watch, particularly in the last year or so of the Biden administration. And then he lies about another major sector of the economy, which is really hitting the American people's pocketbooks.
And everything else. By the way, energy is way down. And you're going to
Energy is not way down. The electricity costs, energy costs are skyrocketing on Trump's watch to, like recession level parameters. And he's going out and telling people the exact opposite. It's really frustrating. In this couple of clips, Trump talks about the potential likely government shutdown happening next week if Republicans and Democrats don't agree to a budget by September 31st.
Is the U.S. going to lift sanctions on Turkey?
Can I ask you, we're a few days away.
By the way, here we go with this guy. Go ahead, let's go. Let's hear the
We're a few
question.
days away from the end of the fiscal year and a potential shutdown.
Right.
Is there going to be a government shutdown?
Could be, yeah, because the Democrats are crazed. They don't know what they're doing. They want to have the border opened up so that criminals can pour in. You know, we're doing unbelievable borders closed and people are coming into our country legally. They continue to want to have men and women sports. They continue to want to have transgender for everyone.
None of that has anything to do with the shutdown. Even if I granted him the most charitable maximalist interpretation of what he thinks Democrats want, none of that has anything to do with the shutdown. In the shutdown, what the Democrats are asking for are for him to not defund Obamacare and end Obamacare subsidies, which will cost American consumers and American citizens much of their health care. That's what they're asking for. Nothing that they're demanding has anything to do with the border, transgender in sports. And yet he knows those used to be his most effective lines with respect to, transgender culture war issues and southern border. So he's just trying to pivot back to that and hope that people associate that with the shutdown, even though it has nothing to do with it.
One thing they're concerned about, look, Republicans have total control of Washington. You guys have control of the House, the Senate, there's you.
Well, when you say control, so we need 60 votes for this, and we have 53
Right.
Republicans, so we need 7
And
Democrats.
those 7 Democrats and others are asking for an extension of a tax credit on people who get the Affordable Care Act and some other government-backed health care. So are you willing to negotiate on
Well,
that
what they're
issue?
really asking for is they want to pay for illegal aliens that have come into our country by
What the hell does that have to do with the ACA tax credit? What does that have to do with anything? It's what he's just like, I know that's what they're saying, but what they really want is transgender for everybody. What? You just can't help it. It's just reflexively, pathologically lie and hope that it seals the deal. And unfortunately, it might. It might. Here's another clip.
Yes, please.
Jasmine Crockett recently.
Jasmine Crockett. Remember what I said? Is she a relation to the late, great Davy Crockett? I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett, let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person. I mean, if we ever had to pass an aptitude test, that's the one should take one because she shouldn't even be in the crowd. So I have no idea what you're going to, but I don't think we should waste our time. This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson. Between her and Ilhan Omar and the group. I met the head of...
He can't even pronounce her name. It's Ilhan Omar. Ilhan, not Ilman. And you're talking about like low IQ? Coming from Donald Trump, he's throwing stones in a glass house. Last couple of clips, Trump talks about investigating some of his political rivals or people who are prominent benefactors and donors of liberal, progressive, and democratic causes, including George Soros.
Yeah,
Just so we
go
can
ahead. Why don't you
illustrate it,
defend?
could you
Let's see you
name it?
defend them, Jeff.
No, I'm not defending anyone. I just want, so that we can just explain this in our stories, could you name a couple?
You don't explain it right, though, Jeff.
Well,
Go ahead. Let's go.
just
Maybe
have
let's give you
names.
another chance. Go ahead.
Antifa, Soros,
Yeah.
what names are we talking about?
Well, Soros is a name certainly that I keep hearing. I don't know, but Soros is a name that I hear. I hear a lot of different names. I hear names of some pretty rich people that are radical left people. Maybe I hear about a guy named Reid Hoffman. Somebody's a pretty rich guy, I guess, and I hear about him. I don't know. Maybe could be him. Could be a lot of people.
So these are prominent donors to the Democratic Party that Trump wants to investigate as part of Antifa because he thinks that Soros and Reid Hoffman are somehow associated with political violence. Absolutely no evidence to support that whatsoever, but that's what Trump is using as a pretext to investigate some of the biggest financial backers of the Democratic Party. It's very mafioso, very authoritarian, classic Trump, and we have 3.5 years to go, and there doesn't seem to be any actual attempts to hold him accountable in the press. Like even the nature of that question, I'm just trying to get some clarifications. Like he's treated with kid gloves with respect to the media, and it's incredibly frustrating. But there you have it. Donald Trump talking all kinds of nonsense in the Oval Office. And in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.